hostages were rescued after overnight California standoff, and the suspect has been killed. 10 hostages are safe after a tense 15-hour standoff. Ended early Wednesday with the death of the suspect. Local and federal investigators remained at the scene as they worked to determine a motive behind the incident. Situation unfolded inside a Chase Bank building where 10 people, identified as employees of the Kern County Superintendent of Schools, were held against their will overnight. Throughout the night, their families questioned whether or not they would be seen again, but we were very grateful for the outcome, said Jeremy Blakemore, Assistant Chief of the Bakersfield Police Department. What if you had to take a shit in like hour 11? Maybe they escort you to the bathroom in the bank? Authorities identified the suspect as 41-year-old Anthony Searles Harris. Investigators said he claimed to have a bomb strapped to his chest and another device attached to one of the hostages. Law enforcement agencies, including the FBI, engaged in hours of crisis negotiations. During that time, the suspect tied up 5 of the hostages, though officials said all 10 were ultimately unharmed physically. He had tied up 5 of the hostages, but there were 10 hostages in there, and they were all unharmed physically. I'm sure there'll be mental scars that they'll be living with, and we'll have our victim specialists to help them, said Sid Patel, a special agent with the FBI Sacramento field office. Authorities were able to secure the release of 2 hostages Tuesday evening. Officials said one of the individuals, who's diabetic, required medication, prompting urgent action. We knew that this was a loss of life situation for that particular hostage that was taken if we didn't act sooner rather than later, Patel said. By Tuesday night, the FBI had taken over the investigation and deployed its hostage rescue team from Quantico, Virginia. Around 4:30 a.m. Wednesday, the team entered the building, fatally shooting Sears Harris and freeing the remaining hostages. They're our version of special forces for the FBI. They're the best of the best, and they come out for situations like this. Investigators said Seals Harris had prior contact with law enforcement, including convictions for violent offenses and a sex crime involving a minor. Why the fuck was he out on the street instead of executed? Why wasn't this man just executed? I'm so tired. He was also dishonorably discharged from the army in 2007 after going absent without leave. I've heard like nearly everyone looks down despicably at people who do that kind of shit. Holy fuck. Protective order petitions show volatile relationship between Bakersfield hostage taker Anthony Scott Searles Harris' ex-wife. State documents show that the ex-partner of deceased Bakersfield hostage taker Anthony Scott Searles Harris filed multiple petitions requesting protection orders against him. In the filings obtained by 17 News, the petitioner, an ex-wife of Searles Harris, said he threw her on the bed before dragging her out of the bedroom and attempting to throw her down the stairs. Jesus fuck. She also stated Searles Harris would pull her hair, lock her out of their home, and exploit her on the internet. The various protective order petitions were filed in July 2009, October 2011, September 2012, and November 2012 against Searles Harris. Searles Harris and his wife were married for 5 months from February 2010 to July 2010. And she said in a filing she was terrified that Anthony was going to choke me because he has choked me in the past, and during our marriage he physically locked me up in rooms of our house and physically forced himself on me sexually. In the 2009 filing, the petitioner said Searles Harris would also belittle and exploit her on the internet, publicly posting that she had sexually transmitted infections. Why did she even marry him in the first place? Like, this guy just sounds like a fucking psychopath. What is she doing? She also said Searles Harris slammed the car door, sat on her stomach, and choked her when she was 5 months pregnant. Bro, what the fuck? She described her injuries as scared and bruised. At the time of filing, their daughter was 2 months old. His ex-wife petitioned for Searles Harris to lose custody and visitation privileges until after his court hearing, calling him both emotionally and physically abusive, and that he argues with her about the care of their daughter. He was trying to induce an abortion. I don't even know if he was specifically trying to induce an abortion, more so that he was like using that as another way to harm her. Like, look at what I'm going to do. I'm going to harm your baby and there's nothing you can do about it, you worthless individual, right? Like, that's absolute, like, I don't think it matters, right, whether he was purposefully trying to induce one or not, because that's what the outcome would have been. But with someone as psychopathic as this, he probably wasn't even thinking about, like, I'm going to try to give her an abortion. He was probably just thinking of, like, this is another way to fucking get that dumb bitch, right? Like, that is his line of thinking. This comes as investigations are still ongoing, looking into Searles Harris after he took 10 people as hostages in a downtown Bakersfield Chase Bank building on Tuesday, June 2nd, saying he had a bomb. The threat that led to a 15-hour standoff with the Bakersfield Police Department, Homeland Security personnel, and FBI agents. Searles Harris was fatally shot by FBI agents early Wednesday morning, ending the standoff. All 10 hostages were released safely and unharmed. In a press conference with the FBI and BPD hours after the hostage situation ended, law enforcement said Searles Harris, 41, was a convicted sex offender who was found guilty of holding alcohol and drug-fueled parties where he engaged in sex acts with underage girls in 2014. Girls. Multiple. Oh, why was this man free? He was also convicted for forcing a 13-year-old to perform a sex act with a 26-year-old man. Why do we just let demons walk among us? Like, what is wrong with us that we have just lost any kind of, like, ounce of, yeah, these people should just be put in the dirt. Let's do it.
Say the line!
He was on our radar.
Yay!
The more you hear about this guy, the more you glow. Yeah, it's pretty fucking bad. Searles Harris maintained that he was framed for the crimes and held grudges against local law enforcement. He posted a nearly 2 hours long YouTube video in October claiming that the police planted evidence against him, relied on biased evidence, and ignored exculpatory evidence. This also leads more credence to that YouTube channel that we found being actually his. Because I think the only videos on that channel were 2 really long videos about how corrupt the police department was, right? What the fuck does that mean? Forcing a minor with someone else? Exactly as it sounds? What do you mean by that? Another petition filed to the court in October 2011 showed Searles Harris had a white pit bull named Felony! That is the most correctly named pit bull I've ever seen! This guy said, nah, you know, it's too subversive to use names like Cupcake or Jelly Bean or Princess. I'm just gonna go with Felony. That's crazy. Searles Harris, who was reported to possess firearms in his house, how I thought when you got convicted of domestic violence stuff, they take your firearms. Once again, let's bring up Tectone, right? He didn't even get convicted of anything. He just had like the fucking restraining order or whatever. So like there's no actual court case. And even he got his firearms taken away. How the fuck was this guy? How the fuck? Felony's probably the nicest of doggos. The gun laws only affect law-abiding citizens. It's also tiresome. Also filed protective order petitions against his ex-wife, whom he shared a daughter with. Those petitions were filed in July 2010 and March 2012. In the 2010 filing, Searles Harris said when he visited his daughter and then wife at her mother's home, he found their 14-month-old daughter alone in the living room and that his wife was in the garage drunk. Searles Harris said she then assaulted him and drove away in a car. He reportedly called 911 and police pulled her over and charged her with a DUI, blowing a 1.7 in a breathalyzer well above the legal driving limit. That explains how she ended up marrying this guy in the first place. In a 2011 filing, Searles Harris wrote that she would continuously call KCSD, CPS, and animal control, making false claims that I did not have power and or water at my house. On October 5th, 2011, we had court and the judge ordered that on my next visit, I allow her to walk through to check utilities. During the walkthrough, Searles Harris wrote that his ex-wife was saying, "Where is she?" and "I know she's living here." She had no interest in checking my utilities, just trying to find out who I'm with. She fails to co-parent and fails to follow orders given by the judge, he wrote while describing the abuse. She abuses the authority given to her by the courts to do a witch hunt to find out if I'm dating anyone. In the 2012 filing from Searles Harris against his ex-wife, he accused her of violating a court order by calling him over the phone, harassing him, and stalking him in her car. At the time of filing, the two were no longer living together. Searles Harris claimed that she would also verbally belittle him, calling him pathetic and an idiot over the phone, in text messages and to their daughter, and would abuse alcohol, pills, and narcotics. Searles Harris also said she would not allow him child visitation, took their daughter to the beach without notifying him that she was leaving Kern County, and threatened to disappear with their daughter. A 2012 petition his ex-wife filed against Searles Harris said she wanted a protective order granted for herself, their daughter, and her newborn child. But it is not clear if Searles Harris was the father to that infant as well. The 2012 petition was granted to Searles Harris's ex-wife and was in effect until November 6th, 2017 at midnight. That's fucking crazy. Pedophiles with a dog named Felony get some crazy ex-wife pussy. Jesus Christ. That was a fucking trip. What the hell? Before we got the jury actually delivering a verdict, we had this the other day. Karmelo Anthony declines to take the stand as teen killer's defense rests and jury prepares to deliberate whether his stabbing of Austin Metcalf, 17, was murder. Karmelo Anthony's defense rested its case on Monday as 12 jurors prepared to deliberate on the teen killer's fate. 19-year-old opted not to testify in his own defense, prompting Judge John R. Roach to announce to jurors, "What that means, ladies and gentlemen, is that you've heard all the evidence you're going to hear today. Anthony is standing trial for 17-year-old Austin Metcalf's murder and has maintained that he acted in self-defense during the deadly folding knife attack at a track meet in Frisco, Texas in April 2025. Since the state rested its case on Saturday, 6 defense witnesses have been called to the stand, including Anthony's coach, a policeman, and 4 students who were at Kuykendall Stadium at the time of the incident. The defense suffered a huge setback earlier today after one of the teen's teammates appeared to backtrack on claims that Anthony had been surrounded by a group of students when he fatally stabbed Metcalf. I think the best part of this student lying about that was they literally brought up the CCTV footage and they were like, "Hey, this is you. Your back is to the tent where all of this happened, so how can you be saying that you saw what happened when you weren't looking at the area where it happened?" And I was like, holy shit, man. Do these people not understand what perjuring themselves would be?
No.
What a moron, a digital dummy. Last week, defense lawyers suggested Metcalf may have impaled himself on Anthony's knife. Yeah, sometimes white guys just do that. That seems to have been like something that's been implied in multiple cases now. At first it was with fucking David. It's like sometimes women just climb in the back of Teslas and decapitate themselves and tie them inside a bag. Women just do that. It's like, what the fuck are we doing? Multiple witnesses, including several teens present at the meet, trashed Anthony's self-defense claim when the trial began last Thursday and contended that he had a folding knife ready in his hands as Metcalf stood near him to push him. The teenagers argued about seating under the Memorial High School track tent before Metcalf was fatally stabbed in the heart. Karmelo Anthony's defense had rested its case after presenting just 6 witnesses. After an extended lunch break, Anthony opted not to take the stand in his own defense. Closing arguments will begin Tuesday morning, and the jury has been sequestered, meaning they will be isolated from the outside world and cut off from communication and media access. The jury will be sequestered until it reaches a verdict. Court was dismissed for the end of day and will resume at 9 a.m. Central on Tuesday. Multiple witnesses trashed Karmelo Anthony's claim that he acted in self-defense when he stabbed Austin Metcalf on the witness stand Friday. On Thursday, an attorney for Anthony said his client did not instigate the fight with Metcalf, telling the jury at the start of a packed murder trial near Dallas that it was instead an act of self-defense. That's still, like, I know lawyers gotta do, like, everything possible, but it's still absolutely crazy to try that. Yeah, I plead oopsie daisy. There was this little clip the other day that said Fox News' Will Cain exposes Karmelo Anthony family spokesperson Dominique Alexander, the leader of the Next Generation Action Network, who has a lengthy criminal history. And I don't know if, okay, I was gonna say, I don't know if Sarah Fields is below here, because I was gonna say, I think they mean Sarah Fields exposes Karmelo Anthony family spokesperson, as she's been talking about this for years. I imagine I'm going to have the same issue once more people realize what Bridge is. But it was definitely Sarah Fields who had been reporting about this duplicitous asshole for a long-ass time now. And she's had tons of death threats due to her reporting. So it's kind of scummy. Kind of scummy. That, like, people are saying, oh, Fox News uncovered it. Fox News exposed them. Fox stole it from her. Yeah, exactly. Absolute cretins. Alexander also chastised Austin Metcalf's grieving father during a press conference last year where he and others shamelessly attacked the Metcalf family. Will Cain said Alexander also happens to have a lengthy rap sheet, including felony injury to a child, stealing a car, felony theft, felony assault, evading arrest, and so on. Dominique Alexander's Next Generation Action Network has gotten funding from the Tides Foundation, seeded by none other than George Soros. Which, again, something that Sarah Fields has talked about before.
Quick sidebar on Dominique Alexander. This is the guy who chastised Austin Metcalf's father for being present at a press conference held by the Anthony family last year. Metcalf was escorted by police out of that press conference. Absolutely despicable. Alexander also happens to have a lengthy rap sheet, including felony injury to a child, stealing a car, felony theft, felony assault, evading arrest, and so on and so forth. And another interesting tidbit, Dominique Alexander's Next Generation Action Network has gotten funding from the Tides Foundation, seeded by none other than George Soros. Quick sidebar on Dominique Alexander.
I love how the mainstream media will catch up to where, like, independent journalists have been for like a year and then take credit for it, like they actually uncovered it. It's kind of crazy. It's kind of insane. This was last night. She said, I'm gonna be honest, the defense was abysmal. Few witnesses called to the stand today either could not remember key details or simply did not see what actually happened. Their testimony was thoroughly challenged during cross-examination by Bill Wiersky. The defense presented no additional evidence beyond witnesses who were unable to confirm the long-standing claim that Karmelo Anthony was attacked, a claim that has circulated since the beginning of this case. More than 20 witnesses called by the prosecution consistently described Austin and Hunter as leaders, role models, and their brothers. Closing arguments are tomorrow morning. After that, the jury will begin deliberations. Judge Roach has informed the jurors that they will be sequestered during deliberations. If they do not reach a verdict by the end of day, they will be housed in a hotel and isolated from outside communication until deliberations are complete. I do not foresee this jury taking more than a day to reach a verdict. During jury selection, the prospective jurors were educated on several important aspects of Texas law regarding self-defense. First, murder under Texas law involves intentionally or knowingly causing the death of another person. Contrary to what many people believe, Texas law does not require the state to prove premeditation in order to secure a murder conviction. Jurors were also told that words alone do not justify the use of deadly force. Additionally, a person cannot provoke a confrontation, escalate it, and then successfully claim self-defense after using deadly force. I'll be posting a video later today with detailed account of everything that occurred in the courtroom. And we got the Mary Ann Martinez lady. She has also been at the trial, like Sarah Fields, saying Karmelo Anthony verdict guilty of murder. Fuck yeah, buddy. Fuck yeah, buddy. That's what I like to see. That's incredibly interesting. Like, it's so little faith in the justice system nowadays. So like seeing a real fucking verdict handed down is nuts.
Our screen here, some people sitting on the ground kind of reacting to it that way. Folks were kind of following that person's lead and kind of saying, I heard somebody say, stick together, let's all stay together, and that seems to be the sentiment out here. But all in all, relatively calm. Still a very large police force, as you might expect, out here, keeping an eye on things.
Damn, that bitch yellow as fuck.
I have noticed a couple of additional law enforcement trucks, vehicles, constable vehicles that are in the distance there, arriving, kind of creating more of a barrier separating the crowd from the entrance of the courthouse.
Black Panthers are attempting to launch a race war outside the Collin County Courthouse after Karmelo Anthony was found guilty. We got to tell our kids the truth, that this is a racist-ass country. We got to tell them the truth. Hey, yo, this country racist. We can't even kill Whitey and not get off scot-free anymore. What the fuck?
Tell our kids the truth, that this is a racist-ass country. We gotta tell them the truth. Who don't get stop that cool-ass shit? Don't nobody want to hear about what we do to each other. We talking about what they doing to us. White folks kill white folks.
Damn, I think this is the first bitch I've seen with tits just as big as my mother's. That's crazy.
Mexicans kill Mexicans.
Mexicans kill Mexicans. Mexican. I like how she said Mexican.
I don't hear no cool shit today.
What?
Over them white folks with that. This is a racist ass country. We're in a racist ass state. This is a racist ass court. There ain't nothing else to talk about. When has a white boy been before an all-black jury? Tell us, media. Tell us, white folks. When has a white boy been before an all-black jury? Never.
How's it murder?
This is racist.
Is he okay?
Because you know what? Whatever the verdict is.
I genuinely hate how, like, every single fucking clip from these protests outside the courthouse has literally just made me PTSD flashback to episodes of the Boondocks. Like, holy shit.
He got justice because he got to go before a jury of 6 or 12 instead of being buried by 6.
Jesus Christ.
We got to stand up. We're going to keep, that's right. You know what? Let this be public in the scene. Exactly. Come on, sister. Come on, sister. She right.
I do like this guy's shorts, though. These are some pretty nice looking shorts. They need to be a little higher up. He's sagging. You shouldn't be doing that. You know, upstanding men, they don't sag, bruh.
This ain't no, this is a war. This is a war.
Civil War! I'm Tim Pool.
This is a war. And it's been going on. This war been going on. They never stop being racist.
It's also tiresome.
What do you want us to do? What do you want us to do at this point? What? I'm lost for words. I don't know what to do. I got 5 boys. I don't know what. I ain't got nothing to tell him no more. You can't walk away no more.
Rest in peace, Trayvon Martin.
What do you want us to do?
I don't know. Maybe tell your sons to don't murder people? What the fuck do you mean? Holy shit. Just no intelligence to be seen anyway. This is why aliens won't contact us. Teach them not to stab people. Jesus fucking Christ. Maybe, I don't know, obey the law? Be a law-abiding citizen? I know that might be difficult. It's hard for all of us every day. That face will become a meme. Jesus Christ.
I speak on behalf of myself, Minister Dominique Alexander. I speak on behalf of myself as president of the Next Generation Action Network. The Next Generation Action Network wanted to respect this process, to be able to make sure that nobody said that the Next Generation Action Network obstructed this process, interfered in this process. But what this process did is shown that black lives do not matter in Collin County.
A white boy is murdered by a black boy. Black people most affected. I hate the fucking race hustlers like this guy. This guy is like point proven part of the reason why race relations are so fucking bad. He gets paid good money to keep things inflamed and keep people upset at each other. If it weren't for people like him, we could maybe have had the post-racial utopia we were promised and lied about. What do you want us to do? We can't walk away, bitch. If he walked away, he wouldn't be in this mess. I know, right?
It showed us that time and time in American history, it has shown us to remove emotions from yet the law. This trial showed that it put emotions over the law. After Trayvon Martin and so many countless names, it has shown us
Jesus Christ,
that black life is not safe in Collin County. It showed us that they did.
White boy gets murdered in cold blood by black boy. City not safe for black people. I mean, maybe he's right, because black people are the victims more often than not of black crime. But like...
did not listen to the law. It showed clearly that a judge interfered in this process. It showed very clearly that a black boy was allowed not one black soul on a jury.
Because you are entitled to a jury of your peers, not a jury of your, like, racial contemporaries. And the jurors who were black got cut from being on the jury because they were saying they were not going to convict him because of his skin color. That's why! You're crazy!
An all white jury convicted him in 2 to 3 hours.
Yeah, 'cause he's
we
guilty
know
as sin.
that they did not prove their case.
They did.
They are currently sentencing Karmelo Anthony, but we know that the Next Generation Action Network put the first $10,000 towards an appellate attorney. And we will fight Collin County like hell.
Yeah.
I respected this process.
I just don't believe you.
I allowed and called for peace in this process.
No, you did not.
But Black America should be very upset about what went on today.
No, they shouldn't.
Now before
No, if you have brain cells, you're not upset about what happened. You're happy.
all of the internet lawyers and before all of the interpretation of the situation, I'm only an advocacy leader. I'm not an attorney. I can only help families be able to navigate these processes when they find themselves in this type of situation.
When they find themselves in this type of situation, a situation they created by literally killing someone else? What the fuck? They're trying to amp up the Karmelo thing because body cams utterly destroyed the police are racist narrative, and this one didn't have direct footage despite a mountain of evidence proving murder. Yeah, it's pretty ridiculous. It was clearly Austin's fault for getting in the way of Carmelo's knife. The defense unironically tried the, Your Honor, Austin Metcalf fell on my defendant's knife. Like, they unironically tried that.
The judge as well in this case said it was not a case about race, but you cannot deny that just the facts of the case and what we've seen play out since then and what we're watch happening now is because the defendant is black, the victim is white, and That's the bottom line. But again, this is what I alluded to when I said this has brought out what's bubbling right beneath the surface.
I'm also really glad that whoever's narrating this is doing it in the most deadpan fucking voice ever. That this is like peak we live in a society video, dude. If somebody like just came out of a coma for the last 20 years and they were like, "Please, Kirsche, I've been in a coma for 20 years and I have no idea what's going on anymore. Could you explain the state of society to me?" I would just link them this video. That would speak for itself. Hold on. This guy's hair is like running away from his head. Like what kind of haircut is that, bro? Ah!
Like the fuck I said.
That's okay, he sounds like he can say it.
See how I got a freedom of speech? You can't control it.
Why are we fighting each other? I'm on your side. I want Karmelo free, not locked up. So why am I sitting here fighting you? Why is another black man arguing with a...
Because it has nothing to do with skin color. If you murder someone, you should be executed. Unfortunately, we do not live in a well society, and so they either get to go free, or they get to be paid for by the tax dollars for like decades in prison. It's also tiresome. I just like, what do you mean I shouldn't be fighting you? The people that you're fighting are sane. They're not fighting some sort of like, oh, he's black, therefore he can't be guilty of murder. They're just like, yeah, fuck him. He murdered someone. I don't give a shit. What the fuck? I might need to turn up the volume more. This woman's got crack whore physiognomy, man. She can say it, it's okay. I like the juxtaposition of showing this like crack whore looking woman in like a sports bra and workout shorts, and then they panned over to like the other people, and you have like this guy in a fucking suit, and you got like this guy wearing the Viper shades that became a meme. She weighs too much to be a crack whore? I don't know. She got like Ariana Grande arms, man. Which, holy fuck. Someone needs to do something. The Babylon Bee posted, "Nation shocked as jury rules you cannot stab someone in the heart for no reason at all." It's actually fucking crazy. Karmelo Anthony, the teenager who fatally stabbed a fellow student during a high school track meet last year, has been sentenced to 35 years in prison. The 19-year-old was convicted of murder in the April 2nd, 2025 death of Austin Metcalf, 17, at a stadium in the Dallas suburb of Frisco. Jury sentenced Karmelo Anthony to 35 years in prison. He'll be eligible for parole after half the time is served. He faced anywhere from 5 to 99 years. They had up to 99 years and they only gave him 35? What the fuck? He should have gotten the death penalty. In a just society, he would have gotten the death penalty, yes. Parole, there shouldn't be parole. I think it's even more ridiculous, like, after we have this conviction handed down, the fact that they reduced his bail and he was allowed to be sent home on an ankle monitor, allowed to graduate, and allowed to go to prom. All of that looks even more ridiculous in the face of this conviction. That's white privilege for you! Yes, I enjoy my white privilege of having to obey the law and not getting special treatment. Seriously concerning scenes from Belfast, reports of at least 400 masked up young men with petrol bombs and other weaponry. I'm guessing these are the people who set that giant fucking fire? Very interesting. Protesters in Belfast are going house to house looking for migrants and evicting them. I'm gonna say probably not, but you know. Damn, that's crazy. We might be getting into deportations were the polite option territory. That's starting to look like maybe what's going on in Ireland. Yeah, they are busting in those doors. Are you housing immigrants under your floorboards? Oh my god. Kind of wild. No, Savvy's down there asking not bait headline? That's a big fucking bus, buddy. Holy fuck! What the hell? What the hell is even... What did they set on fire? That's wild to see that large of a fire with the send them home. Oh, look, a fight. Little street bum fight. The Irish are really good at bonfires, historically.
Okay.
Sergeant Buck, thank you. You think the Irish have become mildly annoyed? We've escalated from now hold on a minute to now all right, buddy. 60 watt, thank you. Looks mostly peaceful to you. Yeah, this is mostly peaceful Irishman. What do you mean? No problems here. We're at stage you just hold your horses. When are we gonna finally hit the red zone? Now, son, I don't think this town's big enough for the both of us. I'm just assuming, but you're thinking the huge fires from where they were setting a council housing for immigrants on fire? Interesting. Interesting.
You end up in. Don't wait to engineer your way to Belfast.
I mean, that often is not
that
the
is
case.
A lot of
it
shit.
Often is the case.
They
I mean, what fire? This is a peaceful protest.
To go and see if they can find settled status somewhere and then bring the family. That is why you see.
If you're genuinely feeling persecution, genuinely, Anna. If you're genuinely feeling
cars just do that.
Would you leave your family?
You know, cars have gasoline in them. They spontaneously combust all the time.
In Belfast.
That's so shocking. I wonder why cars would decide to spontaneously combust during this peaceful summer of love in Ireland.
Know the details of this case, and yet we're using this to get angry because this is a rage that has been.
It's not an isolated case, though. That's the problem. These cases occur, and they perpetually come up. And people are now drawing their own conclusions. And you're right, you're absolutely right that we don't want unrest on the streets. But we've got to the point now in this country where people feel that the Michael has been extracted for too long. We've been talking about this stuff since 2005, for heaven's sake.
Yep.
It's now 2026, and we're still having the conversation about getting tough. It's a joke.
I might point out, of course, that under Michael Howard, in 2005, the Labour Party won, I think it was a majority of 64. Yes. And of course, in 2001, when you were also a candidate, Labour had a majority of about 170.
I know. It's a good point.
You didn't feel...
Is this Ireland proper or part of the UK? I have no idea where Belfast is.
It's Reform who are now talking about the Boris wave and attacking that.
That's right. That's right, too.
Well, we see the fire engines on the streets of Belfast.
It's North Ireland. Thank you, chat.
Critical to try to get some of these.
I've managed to pronounce my name. Thank you. Oh, hey, it's on screen. Yeah, we got it.
Just got a statement now.
It's not in your area, but in Belfast, where the attack happened, government housing that's been used for migrants has been set on fire, plus protests in nearly every major city. Yeah, hopefully we'll get some more feeds of this. Oh yeah, let me check my DMs.
So the law can take its course. The scenes of disorder we have witnessed in some parts of Northern Ireland this evening are only damaging communities and putting innocent lives at risk. There is no justification at all for this type of thuggery. I echo
thuggery.
From the PSNI
I like how she said
for
it.
This violence to end now. So let's bring in Graham Whettone, our police commentator. You know, as we look at this emergency response with, you know, obviously, clearly the fire service desperate to put out some of these fires, but it is sporadic, it is widespread, it is difficult, therefore, Graham, to tackle.
Yeah, it's exceptionally difficult, and obviously the fire service need a safe environment to work, so they don't normally deploy into areas that the police haven't cleared them already. because we don't want to deploy them. And again, this is a dangerous night for all 999 services, and they're really not the enemy here, but they're the ones now between the people that are causing this disorder, setting fire to properties and vehicles, and other members of the public, other members of the community. So the 999 services are at risk here. People have right to ask it to stop, but I fear this is going to continue for some time yet. There's an element on the streets. Belfast has a history of serious disorder around this time of year anyway, so we're coming into the marching season.
Does
There's
it?
been a history of serious disorder this time of year. I think this is now just being used as a catalyst for almost what happens regularly in Belfast. We've gone beyond the immigration stuff now. This is just the usual people coming out the streets and using this as an excuse to cause serious disorder.
Is he fucking retarded? Is he actually unironically missing his frontal lobe?
And get people to safety.
Yeah, that'll be the priority for the fire service. Once the police have made the area safe for them to come in and start extinguishing the fires, they start checking the premises.
Just
and
lying.
removing people that are at risk. And
well, this is part and parcel of living in a large city. You just have to deal with it.
Into other adjoining properties, so you put a number of people, lives are at risk with this. This is exceptionally dangerous.
He's British, what do you think?
The police and the fire service and the paramedics are trying to deal with a number of
Vladimir Crystal, thank you. If they end now, the police will arrest them. The people should just complete their objective. Yeah, you know? I don't know what the objective is, though. What is their plan? We may never find out. Find out, by the way.
Nothing less than disgusting cowardice, Jenny.
Absolutely, and particularly, you know, when you've got the houses where foreign nationals are assumed to be living. Your correspondent from the Belfast Telegraph pointing out that the man whose life was attempted, well, the attempt was made on his life yesterday, is probably being treated in a hospital by a foreign national. This just achieves absolutely nothing at all. And I think you know the point is true. These are just people out on the street. They just want a ruck. They don't care about immigration or making a point at all. They just want to be thugs.
This is not the sectarian violence that we've known in Northern Ireland over the years. Protestants versus Catholics. This seems to be people targeting Asian shops and so on.
Waiting for Seth Rogen to come on and say that he leaves his car doors unlocked.
Emergency services are well practiced at this already. We've seen, for example, the armoured Land Rovers in use pushing through.
Asian, nah, bro. This was African, not even like their fucking Asian subversion language, man.
You're in a fundamental situation here where whether you choose violence or not, violence is coming to you.
Yes.
You either fight back or you die.
Yes.
You either fight back or you die.
There is no longer the ability to, I just want to grill, I choose to ignore things. You either fight back or you die. That is where we have been. That is where we are.
The truth.
Today, Elon, I think the British public are telling the world that they're ready to fight back.
Good. Yes.
Thank you. Thank you, everyone's autistic father. Only grilling was actually never an option. You always had to at least vote, but now they've brought violence because people didn't vote. I would say during the good times that the strong men make, that is when you have the privilege to just grill and not defend your right to. Right? Because, like, there's so many other people who have been ensuring that you are safe, that you have the luxury of not having to pay attention to anything political going on. We do not live in those kinds of luxurious times at this point. People still have to maintain the grill. They do still have to maintain the grill, but you're at least a bit more insulated when you are inside the good times the strong men make. 2 pupils and a teacher stabbed at school in Manchester, forcing it to lock down. Police have arrested a 14-year-old girl after 3 people were stabbed at a school in North Manchester. That's rare. That's rare that the perpetrator's actually a woman. Emergency services were called to Co-op Academy on Plant Hill Road in Blackley this morning as the school went into lockdown. Greater Manchester police say a 14-year-old girl has injuries to her shoulder, a 14-year-old boy has injuries to his ear, and a 27-year-old male teacher was stabbed in the neck. They were all taken to the hospital, BGM, and their injuries are not believed to be serious and they're in stable condition. The trust which runs the school staff says they acted bravely to quickly detain a girl before police arrived. Chief Inspector John Shilvok said, "We understand that this incident will have caused concern to pupils, staff, and the wider school community. The incident was swiftly and quickly dealt with by staff before officers attending to arrest the girl. There is believed to be no wider threat at this time, and we thank everyone for their support as emergency services dealt with this. We're not looking at anyone further in connection with this incident. Officers will remain at the school and within the area to provide a visible presence and community reassurance. Pictures from the scene showed a huge emergency services presence with a police helicopter flying overhead. In a message to parents, head teacher Phil Quirk said everyone was safe and the incident has been contained. He said that they made the decision to close the school and were getting permission from parents and carers for children to leave. Co-op Academies Trust, which runs the high school, said shortly after the start of the school day, an incident occurred on site involving a pupil with a knife. The school was immediately placed into lockdown, and staff acted bravely to quickly detain the student before emergency services arrived. Greater Manchester Police arrested the student, who remains in custody. Police have confirmed that this was an isolated incident with no wider threat to the public. 3 people, 2 pupils and a member of the staff sustained injuries, and they were taken to a hospital as precautionary measure, where they are in stable condition with injuries not believed to be serious. While our policies outline strict screening and search powers in line with the Department of Education guidance, weapons can unfortunately be small and easily concealed without prior indicators. Unless you're a Sikh, then you don't even need to conceal it. It's just legal for you. We had no reason to conduct a search on any student this morning. The spokesperson said the school will be providing full support to students. They added, "We're incredibly proud of the swift actions of our staff and the mature response of our pupils. School will reopen as normal tomorrow, Wednesday, June 10th. Full emotional support will be in place for pupils, and local officers will maintain a reassuring presence in the area." So I kind of want to know, like, why this happened, right? I mean, I doubt we're going to get much information on either the perpetrator or the victims, because 3 of the 4 are minors. The perpetrator's a minor, 2 of the victims are minors, and then 1 is a teacher. Madman, accused of slaughtering Iryna Zarutska on the Charlotte train, launches deranged rant at a judge. Material in my body. The Madman, accused of slaughtering Ukrainian refugee Iryna Zarutska on a train in North Carolina, screamed at the judge on Tuesday as he was ruled not fit to stand trial for a second time. That means we're just going to execute him, right? DeCarlos Brown Jr., 35, ranted about having material in his body and experiencing a body emergency during the brief hearing at the federal courthouse in Charlotte, Queen City News reported. He also shouted about wanting to press charges against the FBI and asked the judge whether he had reviewed his evaluation and a letter from his mother, the outlet reported. Brown is facing federal and state charges in the shocking August 2025 stabbing death of Zarutska, 23, on board a Charlotte Blue Line light rail, in a case that drew global attention. The suspected killer will now receive medication and treatment for up to 4 months to try and restore his competency. You see, I don't know why we do this. It does not matter if the criminal does not understand that he killed someone. The fact is that he did. We don't need to restore his competency to sentence him. We can just execute him. When we used to be a real country, that's what we did. If Brown does not become competent, he could be held in custody under federal commitment laws, and a later hearing could determine whether he can be forcibly medicated. Forcibly medicated with lead, right? He was previously evaluated at the Metropolitan Correctional Center in Chicago through the Bureau of Prisons, where mental health evaluators spent hours meeting with Brown in person and reviewing audio and video recordings of him before making their recommendation. Prosecutors, including the Assistant U.S. Attorney, did not present any additional evidence during Tuesday morning's 15-minute hearing. Federal authorities insisted that this is not the end of the fight to bring Zarutska's alleged killer to trial eventually. The court found that his prognosis is good to be made competent and set a 4-month deadline to have that process go forward. U.S. Attorney for the Western District of North Carolina, Russ Ferguson, said outside court on Tuesday the court ordered that he seek treatment and medication, Ferguson said, adding that Brown will remain in federal custody throughout his treatment, which will be conducted in person by a doctor over several meetings. What alleged? He shouted he got that white bitch. He allegedly got that white bitch. Our number one goal here is justice for Iryna Zarutska and Iryna Zarutska's family. That's what's on the top of our minds and hearts every day, and this is a step in that process, he said. Yeah, I just don't fucking believe you. We have to make sure that we have a case that is airtight on appeal, airtight on post-conviction litigation. We have to make sure the defendant has all the due process that the Constitution affords him, and this is one step in that process. Hot take, if somebody is captured on film murdering someone else and says, "Got that white girl." I'm pretty sure he said got that white girl. I don't think he said bitch. I'm pretty sure he said got that white girl. But either way, literally on film, that's the due process. Just fucking execute him. What are we doing? You're tired of paying for crazy people storage. This guy gets the pit in a just society. Yeah, exactly. Like, what the fuck? He was also asked about Brown's outburst during the hearing. It wasn't entirely clear what he was yelling out. We've seen since the beginning of the case, he says there's some sort of material that controls him, and I think it was related to that. And that plays a little bit of a role in why he was found not competent to stand trial. So he should be executed. He should not be medicated. He should not have competence restored, or whatever the fuck kind of like restorative justice you think you're doing here. This is literally like tier 1 proof positive case for execution. What are we doing? Zarutska, who had fled her native Ukraine as a refugee after Russia invaded her country, was returning home from her job at a pizza restaurant when authorities say Brown fatally stabbed her on a train on the night of August 22nd, 2025. Horrific surveillance video from the carriage appeared to show Brown sitting behind Zarutska before standing up and plunging a knife into her neck. The young woman died minutes later on the train while Brown fled the scene before he was arrested shortly after. He was initially charged with first-degree murder at a state level before being charged with 2 federal offenses as well. Brown was previously found not competent to stand trial on the state's case following a mental health eval on December 9th, 2025, the results of which were formally made public in a court motion filed April 7th. Separate evaluation carried out by the DOJ Bureau of Prisons also determined he was incompetent to stand trial on his federal charges. I really hate Clown World chat, and I don't really know what else can be said about this. Judge's ruling IQ deficiency contributed to... Jesus. She just wanted to go home, yep. Authorities say it was on camera, you know. In a jaw-dropping disclosure, Massachusetts Governor Maura Healey diverted almost $100 million in taxpayer funds to give illegal immigrant families $30,000 in housing over 2 years. We've read some articles about the $30,000 in housing going to people here illegally. The fact that it has been up to $100 million is crazy, including $4,000 monthly EBT cash assistance, $500 in food aid, free health care, and free cable.
The Massachusetts GOP is criticizing Governor Maura Healey over a new report that shows shifting shelter costs to the state's home-based program. The program provides rental assistance to migrant families. According to the report, Massachusetts is on pace to spend $97 million on the home-based program in the current fiscal year. The state spent approximately $9.5 million on housing at risk.
Even the fucking news presenter, hold on, let me fucking crank this volume. Even the news presenter stumbled over that fucking number.
The state spent approximately $9.5 million on housing at-risk families. Massachusetts Republican Party Chair Amy Carnevale released a statement following the release of the report, saying in part, quote, "As much as Maura Healey would like the public to think that she's improving the system, the data tells a different story."
That's fucking wild. What the fuck? Every day you hear something else that makes you just a little bit less patient with these idiots, and you're running extremely low as is. Fucking relatable.